Time for a sofa upgrade? Visit WashableSofas.com and discover Anabay, where designer style meets budget-friendly prices, with sofas starting at $699. Anabay brings you the ultimate in furniture innovation with a modular design that allows you to rearrange your space effortlessly. Perfect for both small and large spaces, Anabay is the only machine-washable sofa inside and out. Say goodbye to stains and messes with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics that make cleaning easy. Liquid simply slides right off. Designed for custom comfort, our high-resilience foam lets you choose between a sink-in feel or a supportive memory foam blend. Plus, our pet-friendly, stain-resistant fabrics ensure your sofa stays beautiful for years. Don't compromise quality for price. Visit WashableSofas.com to upgrade your living space today with no-risk returns and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get up to 60% off plus free shipping and free returns. Shop now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Murray. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea Dixon here in 15 minutes from right now. We'll head down to Saints camp next hour. Eddie Kennison, former Tiger great, will be here in hour 3. Talk a little LSU football. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, football Tigers are back out on the practice field on Tuesday, the first full pad practice so far of fall camp. And they were, as Brian Kelly said they would be, in a full contact, full tackle scrimmage period to end practice. I'll do things a little bit differently today. Normally I kind of go sequentially through practice. What I want to do is start with the play-by-play from the 11 on 11. This is how so I'm going to start with the end. This is how they finished practice. They were outdoors. It was about a 2-hour workout. It was hot. They were full pads. You know, they played some 7-on-7. They had some pass rush drills, did some special teams, beat up on each other a little bit, and then wrapped up the practice with a full contact, full tackle scrimmage at the end. Now, I say scrimmage because it was a true down and distance. This wasn't situational where it's like, all right, you're just working on 1st and 10 or 2nd and 5. This was offense, take the ball at the 20, see if you can put a drive together. This is how it went. And you will notice a theme. I will go through the play-by-play, and you will notice a theme. So by the way, the first defense was, and I'm looking at my handy little notebook. This is what I keep my notes in for those who are, if you're watching. I bought it at Walgreens. It's a little notebook. Your defensive line, your ends were Pyburn and Relaford. Your tackles were Dom McKinley and Bernard Gooden. Your starting linebackers were the Weeks brothers. Mansour Delane and Ashton Stamps were your corners. Harold Perkins was the star. And then Tamarcus Cooley and Jordan Gilbert were the starting safeties. That was your first defense. This was the sequence. First down. Nuss pressured scrambles for 5 yards. By the way, Gabe Relaford was offsides. Free play, so it's 1st and 5. Handoff to Caden Durham for 4 yards. Tackle made by Jack Pyburn. Pretty good start. 2nd and 1, right? Yeah, good start. Bernard Gooden. 2-yard tackle for loss. Now it's 3rd and 3. Sack, drive over. Oh, They were just getting started defensively. So it's 1st and 10 again. They move the ball back, 1st and 10 again for the offense. This time Harlan Berry's in with the ones. By the way, Harlan Berry jumped Caleb Jackson today and was the first back after Caden Durham. I don't know that I read much into that, just giving him reps. Hand off to Harlan Berry. Don McKinley, 2-yard TFL. 2nd and 12. They got Trey'Nez Green over the middle. Nuss puts it on him. Boom. Jordan Gilbert dislodges the football. 3rd and 12. Jack Pyburn, sack, drive over. The defense was active and disruptive today. So they send the twos out there. This is your second-team defense. By the way, this is illustrative of why I think LSU's defense is going to be much better. This was the second defense, okay? Your tackles were Jacobian Guillory and Ahmad Bro. Guillory's a 6-year player. Bro was a really good contributor for you a year ago. Your ends were Jamari Butler, a 6-year player, and Patrick Payton. Maybe you're the best defensive end you brought in via the portal. Your linebackers were Tylen Singleton, Devon Keys. Your star was Charles Ross. Your corners were DJ Pickett and PJ Woodland. And your safeties were Deshaun Spears, a 5-star, and AJ Halsey, one of your best transfers. That was your second-team defense. You want to know why the defense is wrecking things right now? Because things like that. Here you go. Here's the second offensive series. 1st and 10, they hand it to Caleb Jackson for a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6. Xavier Thomas, out of the running back spot, takes a handoff for a 1-yard loss. There was nothing up the middle. He bounced it outside. DJ Pickett made the tackle around the end. Really nice play by Pickett. So it's 3rd and 7. Pass intended for Barry and Brown, who was open. By the way, Van Buren was the quarterback here. Open, and PJ Woodland comes up with the pass breakup. 3 and out. So they move it back, start over, 1st and 10. This time, JT Lindsey, the other freshman, gets in there, takes a handoff, straight up the gut for 10 yards. First down for any of the offensive series so far. So it's 1st and 10. Hand it off to JT Lindsey again for 2 yards, so it's 2nd and 8. Michael Van Buren's pressured. He scrambles for 1 yard. It's 3rd and 7. Tylen Singleton blitzes and sacks Michael Van Buren, drive over. So the ones go back out there. It's 1st and 10. Jack Pyburn, 5-yard TFL on a handoff to Caden Durham. 2nd and 15. They check down to Caden Durham because Nuss was being pressured. He gets a 1-yard gain. 3rd and 14. This was the best play. 3rd and 14. Nuss has a clean pocket, fires over the middle for 19 yards to Kyle Parker for a 1st down. The next play, they ran a counter to Caden Durham, right side, 45-yard touchdown. Overall, this has been illustrative of what we've seen so far in these team periods. And by the way, on the 45-yard touchdown, Jordan Gilbert missed a tackle. He was the only guy who had a shot at Durham. Durham broke the tackle and scored. The defense is overwhelming the offense. The front seven. The defensive front seven is overwhelming the offense. But the offense is so explosive that they still make plays. Earlier in practice, they ran an 11-on-11 period. That was situational. It was all 1st and 10. Like they've done some 2nd and 5, 2nd and 10. It was all 1st and 10. When they went 11-on-11 earlier, first play, Durham got stuffed. Second play, Nuss scrambles to the right, intended for Bauer Sharp. Harold Perkins was blanketed all over Bauer Sharp, incomplete. Third down, or the third play, 5-yard run by Durham. Then Harlan Berry had back-to-back runs for 3 yards and 4 yards. And on the 6th play with the ones, he's got Nuss has Chris Hilton open deep in the end zone. Nuss pressured, underthrows it. It's incomplete. Like Hilton had to kind of fall to the ground coming back toward the ball, bounce off his hands. He missed it. They've hit a lot of those big plays at the end of drives. But if you look at a 6-play offensive sequence, 5 plays goes to the defense. The 1 big play is what the offense come up with. I know the feeling right now for a lot of people. And by the way, that was one of the things Brian Kelly was asked after the scrimmage. He was asked kind of about the offensive line and the defensive line, about how the offensive line kind of got overwhelmed today. And play number 2, this is what Brian Kelly said.
When we go into these scrimmage situations, I'm much more interested in the evaluation, not the congratulations. This is evaluating what are the things on our football team that we need to get better at individually, collectively, as a unit, offense and defensively. I'm not looking for guys getting patted on the back saying, well, what a great scrimmage. It's one. I want to be able to evaluate. And today, for me, is a great evaluation day.
he said a lot there without saying a whole lot about what we saw, which was the offense it was just like a tidal wave of the defense, the guys in purple just overwhelming the guys in white. Here's my takeaway, okay? And I've been out to every practice they've allowed us to watch. I've seen every minute of everything they've allowed us to watch so far. 6 practices, they've given us availability to 5 of them. I've been out there for all of it. I go out and I watch the offensive line do one-on-one pass rush drills against the defense, and the offensive line more than holds their own. Watched Tyree Adams stonewall Jack Pyburn twice today in one-on-ones. They got talent on the offensive line. Like, I will be bullish in that stance. Like, Braylon Moore is awesome. Like, he is so quick with his hands, and it's the hardest thing to do is to snap the football and get your hands up simultaneously, and he's so good at it. It's just a night and day improvement from a year ago with DJ Chester. They've got dudes. Now, Josh Thompson can't block Bernard Gooden, but nobody has been able to block Bernard Gooden, quite honestly, so far. Josh Thompson's done very well otherwise. All that to say, I know that offensive line has dudes that have played a lot of football and are very talented. They just haven't played a lot of football together. And Blake Baker right now has waves of dudes that are going to be NFL draft picks. Like, this is why I'm less concerned about the offense and more bullish on the defense. Like, Jack Pyburn is going to be picked in the NFL. Bernard Gooden's going to be picked in the NFL. Don McKinley, Gabe Relaford, Patrick Payton, Jamari Butler, Ahmad Bro, Jacobian Guillory. That's your 2 deep on the defensive line. Those are all guys that are going to be NFL draft picks. All of them. And they're all veteran. The youngest guy among all the ones I just mentioned is Ahmad Bro, who's a sophomore. Like, all those other guys are veteran dudes. 4th, 5th year guys. One's a 6th year guy. You have veteran talented dudes all over your defensive front. And you have 5 offensive linemen that have played together for 1 week in their current positions. The onus is on Brad Davis, certainly Joe Sloan. I would throw Alex Atkins in there as well as the run game coordinator, also the tight ends coach who's working in tandem with a lot of these guys. To get these 5 to play as one, you got 3 weeks to do it. You got 21 practices. You got 21 camp practices before you get into game week for Clemson. You got 21 practices, 6 down, to get these 5 very talented dudes to play together as one. They do that, I think you're going to be really good. I also think that LSU defensive front is going to overwhelm a lot of people because they are deep and they are talented and they are experienced. And they showed it today. All right, it's after further review. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. Y'all, gonna be tailgate time soon. Maybe you're enjoying those last few summer, August Saturdays and Sundays out by the pool before the kiddos are back in school and before you're spending Saturdays out tailgating for the Tigers. You're gonna be hanging out by the pool or at the grill or whatever you're doing. Make sure you got plenty of ice cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of your New Orleans Saints. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light and our friends over at Mockler Beverage and Bud Light. All right, it's after further review. I'm going to come back and give you the rest of my practice notes in hour 2. So in about an hour and 15 minutes from right now, I'll come back and give you the rest of my practice notes from Tuesday. But let's stay on time. We'll come back. Shea Dixon visits with us every Tuesday. We talk a little recruiting. When last we talked to Shea, it looked like Deuce Gerald's was going to end up at Oregon. Well, something changed, and Deuce Gerald's picked the Tigers. We're going to get Shea's reaction to that and what's ahead. That's next on AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Remember, Renaissance Baton Rouge is right there on Bluebonnet. Gorgeous, sprawling hotel with 5,000 square feet of meeting space, from boardrooms that can host 12 people for your intimate board setting, or their grand ballroom, which can host events for 500 people, a wedding reception, a fundraiser for your nonprofit organization, an awards banquet. Several years ago, Louisiana Association of Broadcasters had our LAB Awards Banquet, the Prestige Awards, at Renaissance Baton Rouge. It's also an awesome spot. Remember, it's where LSU, the football team, stays the Friday before every home game. So if you're already starting to plan for your football Fridays and Saturdays, maybe you got family or friends or colleagues coming in from out of town, make sure they know about Renaissance Baton Rouge. But don't you wait. Don't think you're going to dial up Renaissance Baton Rouge the Friday before the Florida game or the Tuesday before the Florida game. You're going to get a room. Book those rooms now at Renaissance Baton Rouge, right there on Bluebonnet.
Time for a sofa upgrade? Visit WashableSofas.com and discover Anabay, where designer style meets budget-friendly prices, with sofas starting at $699. Anabay brings you the ultimate in furniture innovation with a modular design that allows you to rearrange your space effortlessly. Perfect for both small and large spaces, Anabay is the only machine-washable sofa inside and out. Say goodbye to stains and messes with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics that make cleaning easy. Liquid simply slides right off. Designed for custom comfort, our high-resilience foam lets you choose between a sink-in feel or a supportive memory foam blend. Plus, our pet-friendly, stain-resistant fabrics ensure your sofa stays beautiful for years. Don't compromise quality for price. Visit WashableSofas.com to upgrade your living space today with no-risk returns and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get up to 60% off plus free shipping and free returns. Shop now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Remember, Bunky and below, you want a Deere, you're going to Sunshine, sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this hot, beautiful Tuesday, 94 degrees in Baton Rouge. Saints are about to be wheels up out to L.A. They'll have some joint practice with the Chargers. First preseason game on Sunday. Tigers rolling through fall camp. They'll be back on the practice field Wednesday with no media availability. And then they're off Thursday for a recovery day. They're back out there Friday. We have access Friday. And then a scrimmage Saturday with full media access as well. Of course, we'll be getting your reports both on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and LouisianaSports.net if you want the written form for free over there. And also my Locked On LSU podcast, give you practice reports there as well. So please check that out on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. Just search Locked On LSU. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, good enough to join us as he does every week. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
I'm great. Last week when you and I talked, it kind of felt like Deuce Gerald's maybe was an Oregon lean. And then late last week, It turned. So people close to the program. I know you all started. I saw Wilt Fong, and you put in the predictions for Gerald's to land at LSU, and ultimately he did pick the Tigers. What happened?
Yeah, and I think a few weeks prior to that, LSU was kind of considered the team that might have been up front. And look, obviously in the rev share era and NIL, all of that comes into play. And we've talked about that a bunch on here. Is that's a discussion that goes on throughout a recruitment, but whenever you have an agent and you're coming down to making a commitment, it does come out up more often as a talking point. But I think also LSU just went into overdrive, not just on, a competitive NIL and rev share offer, but the reality that, hey, look, your dad played at Scotlandville. You still have family in the Baton Rouge area. You're planning to leave Georgia for college anyways, which is where he plays high school football. And then Oregon being the main competition, that is a far trek. If it's LSU, look, your family can move back here. You've already got family here. And then the development of, playing on the LSU defense right now with Kyle Williams, longtime pro, and the D-line class they put together, which is, I think, inarguably the best D-line class in America right now, with multiple 5-stars, Richard Anderson, Lamar Brown out of Louisiana. And then you add another top 10 D lineman in Deuce Gerald's on Saturday, a day after landing the top uncommitted D lineman in Louisiana, Darius McKinley, Dom McKinley's younger brother, with Dom obviously kind of in line to start at DT this year for LSU. So that's just what D linemen, tossing a couple edges out of Florida, and boy, a top 10 guy in Trenton Henderson, top 10 edge rusher, top 50 prospect. Kudos to Blake Baker, doing the whole staff really, but Kyle Williams and Kevin Peoples have proved to work pretty well on their recruiting trail.
Shay, I want to ask a follow-up about Gerald's because we here have talked a lot about the prototype that Kyle Williams wants and how it's kind of a contrast from Bo Davis, right? Bo Davis, just look at the lineman Bo Davis recruited. Like Zion Williams, we got to practice, Shay, 6'5", 350. He's a massive dude. Sadir Mitchell. Kyle Williams went and got Bernard Gooden, 6'1", 268. He wants dudes that look more like him. And that's the mold that Deuce Gerald's fits. So to say, and this is completely speculative, but If Bo Davis were still the coach, do you think LSU would have had as good a chance of landing Deuce Gerald's?
I don't know. I think they're in such a better spot as a staff, NIL, organizing rev share, that they can make these pitches that they can back up. So I can't say one way or the other, but I will say that he played a large enough role with Deuce and others on staff, like Frank Wilson recruited his father. Blake Baker and the staff have been on him for a long time, even before Kyle Williams joined the staff. But I'm not sure. I will say this. We haven't seen a group of D linemen like this that are this highly ranked commit to LSU. We've been the rhetoric, Matt. It has been year over year over year. You just had a new D line coach, and it's really hard to build relationships that way that lead to commitment. So for them to do this in somewhat short order, granted they've recruited Richard Anderson, Lamar Brown, and Deuce for a long time, but to do it with staff turnover, I think, is kind of the impressive storyline.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, is with us. Shea, let me get a follow-up there about Darius McKinley, who committed. We always get the question, is he as good as his brother? I remember we'd have those same questions with someone like Jacob Bradford or Leonard Fournette. It's like, well, no. I mean, his brother's the best player in the country at his position. But it doesn't mean Darius McKinley, when I look at his offer list, it's really impressive. What kind of prospect are they getting in Darius McKinley?
I think a true interior guy that can play a couple of different positions for you there. I mean, he's still growing. Remember, he's about to be a senior. It seems like only yesterday he was starting as a ninth grader at Acadiana, which, for those familiar with high school football in Louisiana, that you don't stumble into that. You've got to be pretty good. Yeah. So, and again, look, Darius was a 5-star. He was the number 2D tackle in the country. It's tough to live up to that exact billing, but I think that every cycle you find guys like this in Louisiana where you say, who are the best of the best? Give me the top 3 or 4, and let's go get them. And sometimes they are Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson, who are pretty refined, can come in and somewhat like Don McKinley, play as a freshman, start as a sophomore, and then you've got guys that you want to develop. And I think that's something that with McKinley, a guy like Kyle Williams is probably pretty eager to do, because as a new coach, you get to mold him from clay into kind of what you vision him as his role at LSU.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Shea, I want to ask for updates on a couple other guys that we've been following, Darius Gray and Jace Matthews, but we'll get to that in a second. One of the things that had Twitter going at Twitter this weekend is that Blaine Bradford, when Deuce Gerald's committed, shared that commitment graphic on his Instagram story. I tend to try to not make too much out of things like this, but it started a lot of the conversation about could LSU potentially be in the flip mode for Blaine Bradford. Do you have any reaction or any update there on where things stand?
I would encourage you to continue your efforts, however futile they might be, to try not to read into what 16 and 17-year-olds do on social media. But yes, obviously they're it doesn't hurt when, all the other guys in the class and that he knows, from playing against them, or like Lamar Brown. He and Lamar Brown, how long? We've talked about them since they were in ninth grade. Like, they know each other well as Baton Rouge kids. So to have kind of a public push where LSU fans then get in there and support doesn't hurt. I think you could look at Sam Petito being hired from Ohio State as a guy who played a role in kind of helping recruit him out of Louisiana as a Louisiana native, now being on staff at LSU is something that doesn't hurt. But I would go back to this reality. Nothing changed from the day before Blaine Bradford committed to Ohio State in the spring to now. I mean, they have just continued to recruit him, and in the meantime, not put all their eggs in one basket. Look what they've done just with our rivals' rankings. I mean, they've had Aiden Hall committed for a while. He's been a top 10 safety, but Isaiah Washington out of Haynesville after track season, they went up and offered him. So does everybody else. He's now a top 150 overall player, no matter the position. And these guys are physical. Blaine Bradford the same. They can get in the box and play. And Jake Olson really wanted a coverage safety. Went to Alabama. A guy who wasn't being heavily recruited at the time was Dylan Purter. Now he's blown up as a commitment, and he's a top 150 player. So I think they've sort of got it figured out to where, hey, if Bradford doesn't flip, we've got 3 really good safeties that we like, but we are going to press them all the way to signing day. And I don't think it hurts that Lamar, Richard Anderson, all of these guys are staying home. I think when you look at the top 10 right now, and maybe outside of one guy that got an LSU offer even after he committed, but 8 of the 10 are committed to LSU, with Bradford being the highest ranked kid that's not. So there's always going to kind of be that public, not pressure, but reality that, hey, look, everyone but you is staying home for college.
All right, Shea, we got plenty of time to talk about Bradford and what may happen there as all these guys embark on their senior seasons.
I cannot believe we just made it through that conversation without you screaming.
There's time.
Okay. Do what you do.
There's time. Plenty of time. And I'll gladly scream it whenever he flips, when he flips. All right, Darius Gray and Jace Matthews, 2 guys who talked a ton about. Any updates on either?
Yes. Look, I got a text from a source after they popped Deuce Gerald's, which win over a number of teams, but Oregon is a notable win. You're going up. A lot of people just say it's like whatever school versus Still Night, and if it's coming down to that, it's how often do you win? And LSU's got some wins over Oregon now. When you look forward, like I said, I got a message not 5 minutes after Deuce went public that said all eyes on Jace Matthews now. So. He commits on Friday. He is the number 2 receiver on Rivals right now. The number 1 receiver is Tristan Keys, who is already committed to LSU. So can you add to that class with a guy like Jace Matthews? They're going up against Auburn, A&M, Ole Miss there as an in-state team. He's a Mississippi kid, but border state who most people like Deuce Gerald's feel will probably pick between LSU Auburn. Like Deuce was LSU Oregon. This could be LSU Auburn. And then the same case for Darius Gray, who is a 5-star, who is the number 1 interior O-lineman. I believe he's the highest-ranked uncommitted 5-star left out there. He'll commit on the 22nd, and that one he's from Virginia, but South Carolina would be the local school that has been on him a long time, and then LSU is the one out-of-state school that clearly has made the biggest splash with him. So those are the 2 that, at least in the month of August. Remember, we're still in a dead period here where coaches and recruits can't be on campus or on the road or any of that. So these are phone calls and Zooms and everything like that. But 2 more big dominoes will drop before the season gets here.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Get him on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Matt.
Kelly guy!
Oh, God.
There. It's after further review. We're brought to you by Shawville's Tire and Auto Service. Shawville'sTire.com, Shawville'sTire.com. With locations all over South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at Shawville'sTire.com. Look, if you got issues with your tires, look, Eric actually sent me a text earlier today from work. As a screen grab of the dash on her vehicle that the tire pressure is low. Chances are she just needs some air in the tire, so I'll go do that tonight. But if there is an issue, we'll bring it into Shawville's. Remember, they always repair your tires for free just because they always say it's the right thing to do. And don't miss out. There's great deals always. You get $180 back on select Bridgestone tires now through September the 1st. You could see more at Shawville'sTire.com. Hit the promotions tab, and you get all of the info and all of their great offers at Shawville'sTire.com, Shawville'sTire.com. Remember, they'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they'll keep you coming back year after year after year because they're going to treat you like family. Shawville's, where we keep you rolling. All right, thanks to Shea Dixon for joining us. We appreciate that. In about 45 minutes from right now, Fletcher Mackel from WDSU will jump aboard. He's been at Saints camp. We'll see what Fletcher has been seeing. See, maybe get an update on some of his injuries. Devin Neal went down with an injury today. And obviously, the last time we talked to Fletcher was at the Mackel Golf Tournament, and he gave us an update on Foster Morrow and Taysom Hill. See if he has an update on either of those guys as well. We'll do that coming up here in about 45 minutes. And former Tiger great Eddie Kennison, straight up hour 3, 5 o'clock Central Time. We'll look forward to having Eddie on with us a little bit later. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break, y'all. Tuesday shows powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We'll go around the SEC, and we have updated SEC championship odds. You'll hear that next on AFR.
After further review.
If you got pain, maybe you're trying to get through an injury and it's just slow. Because we get older, the healing process just takes a little longer. Something that could accelerate that healing process, get you feeling good again, BPC 157. If you're not familiar, look it up. Body Protection Compound 157, BPC 157. It's available at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Matt, I thought that was ED. Yes, they do ED. but they do so much more. This is all about helping you feel great and living your optimal life. You want more energy? You want to actually reduce your biological age from a cellular level? NAD plus therapy is a great option. And remember, when it comes to recovery from injuries or a different pain that you deal with, BPC 157, do your research. Go have a consultation with Gabe. Let him explain. See if it's a good thing for you. Work out a plan. At Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, they have the lowest prices and never any contracts. YourGoodwood.com.
Let's be real. Life happens. Kids spill. Pets shed. And accidents are inevitable. Find a sofa that can keep up at WashableSofas.com. Starting at just $699, our sofas are fully machine washable inside and out, so you can say goodbye to stains and hello to worry-free living. Made with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics, they're kid-proof, pet-friendly, and built for everyday life. Plus, changeable fabric covers let you refresh your sofa whenever you want. Need flexibility? Our modular design lets you rearrange your sofa anytime to fit your space, whether it's a growing family room or a cozy apartment. Plus, they're earth-friendly and trusted by over 200,000 happy customers. It's time to upgrade to a stress-free, mess-proof sofa. Visit WashableSofas.com today and save. That's WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun. Over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea.
Got updated SEC championship odds. Texas still the favorite at plus 250. Georgia plus 300. Alabama next at plus 475. Then LSU at plus 750. Then you get a big drop off for A&M at plus 1400. Kind of sounds like the odds makers believe it's those four, right? It's Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU. And as we often say, you can't win it if you don't get to the game. So you have to finish in the top two in the SEC standings to get into the game to be able to get there and to win it. So I look at a team like A&M, and I think A&M is probably maybe the sleeper team in the conference this year. And you can laugh, but they returned 16 starters, 4 starters on their offensive line. They replaced their right tackle, but everybody else is back. 3 really good running backs, including former 5-star Reuben Owens. Their quarterback, Marcel Reed, is a running threat as well. All that to say, I think when you run the ball and you play defense, that travels. Now, they have a really, really brutal road schedule this year. And if there's a reason to bet against Texas A&M, it's the road schedule. If you haven't taken a gander at what the Ags have there, the Milkmen, they open up against UTSA, and then after that they play Utah State. Week 3 they're at Notre Dame. So their non-conference P5 is a true road game, just like LSU plays at Clemson, except they get UTSA and Utah State first. LSU got to do it week 1. After Notre Dame, they get an open date. Then they're home against Auburn, home against Mississippi State, home against Florida. So boom, 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 3 straight home games. But when you play a slate like that, it means you're going to have a similar stretch on the road. So after that October the 11th game at home against Florida, they go at Arkansas, at LSU, open date, at Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, at Texas. So you're talking about a road schedule that includes at Notre Dame, at LSU, at Texas, and that at LSU is the middle of a 3-game road swinging conference. Like A&M is going to go from October the 11th at home against Florida to not playing at Kyle Field again until November the 15th against South Carolina. They're going to go from October the 11th to November 15th without playing a home game. So it's just they've got to be good on the road. And the ability to run the football and play defense, as they say, usually travels. So they're an interesting team. If they can navigate this treacherous road schedule and hold serve at home, A&M could be the sleeper team there. I get it. Texas 8-4, and you're not wrong. Their time in the SEC, since 2012. They had the Johnny Manziel year when they went 10-2, won the bowl game, went 11-2, and then the COVID year where they went 9-1 and gave Jimbo all that money. Idiots. Congratulations. You won 9 games in a fake year. Idiots. Here's $100 million, Jimbo. Idiots. Anyway. Yeah, but I think that this could be their team to do it. Fewest questions, most manageable schedule. I think few questions on A&M. Difficult road schedule is kind of the big question. So we'll see. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out. Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Love jumping in my Volkswagen every day. All the technology, the great German engineering, the style, feel, performance of luxury, the 9 different IIHS top safety features. That's the highest safety designation that you can get for a vehicle. Basically, every Volkswagen model achieves that. So like when I strap Drew into his car seat, when Erica pulls out of the driveway in the morning in her Volkswagen Atlas, I know my family's driving safest vehicles on the road. It gives me tremendous peace of mind. You could have that same peace of mind as well. For you, for your children, if you're buying vehicles for them, just shop South Point Volkswagen. Get the style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. And it's a lot of fun. And they're manufactured right here in the US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Florida Gators.
Running back Treyon Webb has undergone surgery to repair a rupture in his right hamstring. Yeesh. Recovery timetable is unclear as of right now. He's not at practice on Tuesday. Could be back, they think, hopefully, for their SEC opener against LSU in Baton Rouge on September the 13th. This will be the 3rd procedure for Webb in a 12-month span.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Defensive back Boo Carter has returned to practice, spent the first few days of preseason working his way back after his summer absence. Now the defensive back in uniform. Josh Heupel said Carter still part of the team, even though he was facing disciplinary action from the offseason. He'll work through, but still on the team. Carter earned freshman All-SEC honors as a defensive back and return specialist a year ago. So he's an important part of that Tennessee team, and he's working his way back.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Quarterback snap distribution hasn't changed. That according to Ryan Grubb, who met with reporters. Status quo, all the guys getting 1s, 2s, and 3s, with the exception of Ty Simpson. He's the only guy who's working just with the 1s and 2s, not taking reps with the 3s. Tide will scrimmage this Saturday with one more scrimmage the following Saturday. Ty Simpson is, of course, the perceived front-runner for the starting quarterback job to replace Jalen Milroe.
Texas A&M!
And A&M football plans to take advantage of the unlimited on-field coach rule for the 2025 season. The Aggies have 14 assistants on staff with on-field titles and responsibilities right now. The D1 Council allowed for the increase last June, removed the cap of the 11 on-field coaches. So basically, all of the analysts and support staff personnel can coach on the field, and Texas A&M certainly is doing that. All right, there you have it. That is around the SEC. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Just visit sunequip.com, sunequip.com for Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. It is interesting, that story about A&M with the on-field assistants, because that feels like an outlier, but that's actually the norm. Like, you go out to LSU practice, and one of the things that is most obvious to me now going out to practice, and I think I said this earlier, when we went for day 1 last week, I was kind of doing the math in my head. This is my 19th fall camp that I've covered out at LSU. So I've been doing this for a good while now, and I've seen Les and Ed and now Brian Kelly, so 3 different coaches and their staffs and how they handle things. And I'll tell you, the most notable difference going to practice now as opposed to, well, aside from the fact that Les was just, it was just these 3-hour marathon practices and 2-a-days, and he was just trying the big cat drill and just trying to grind everybody into dust. But the biggest difference is the on-field assistants. Like, when you watch special teams, like Aman Anand, the analyst that they brought in from Grambling, like, he's coaching special teams. Like, he's the special teams coordinator. Out there at practice, on field, running all the special teams drills. Like, that's his job. You go watch the quarterbacks. Well, Joe Sloan's there, but so is Tim Rattay. Like, he's there coaching the quarterbacks with Joe Sloan. I mean, you just every every position coach has an assistant, a GA, an analyst, somebody there working with them with their position group. So there is just no shortage of that now. Like there is just no such thing anymore as a hard cap of like the 10 on field, like the head coach and the 10 on field assistants. It's just like anybody can go out on the field and coach. And it should be that way. Why not? If you have the resource and can do it, do it. And the haves have pushed forward over the years. They got their way, and I think it's to the betterment of all the players. Are going to get better instruction. So, yeah, A&M's doing it, but so is LSU, and so is everybody else. All right, it's after further review. Saints have released an official depth chart before they hit the road or the air to take on the Chargers. I want to talk about that and an injury to one of the Saints draft picks who's apparently going to be out for a little while. We'll talk about that when we come back at AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Get by any of their 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. You know where they are. Sigourney Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Listen, it's that time of year where, of course, because it's 95 degrees, we're all spending time in our outdoor area, maybe by the pool if you have it, and you're out there. And maybe when the sun goes down at night, gets a little cooler, maybe you're lucky, get a little breeze, fire up the barbecue pit, and you got mosquitoes. If you want to stop doing that, go to Clegg's. They've got the Aeon mosquito barrier. I'm telling you, if you got mosquitoes, this is the cheapest, most effective way to knock them out. It's a tube the size of a track baton. Take the top off. It's got granules in it. Fill it up with water till the fill line. Put the cap back on, shake it, hang it on your property line. You're done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time. I don't know how it works. I just know that it does. You can find it at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Time for a sofa upgrade? Visit WashableSofas.com and discover Anabay, where designer style meets budget-friendly prices, with sofas starting at $699. Anabay brings you the ultimate in furniture innovation with a modular design that allows you to rearrange your space effortlessly. Perfect for both small and large spaces, Anabay is the only machine-washable sofa inside and out. Say goodbye to stains and messes with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics that make cleaning easy. Liquid simply slides right off. Designed for custom comfort, our high-resilience foam lets you choose between a sink-in feel or a supportive memory foam blend. Plus, our pet-friendly, stain-resistant fabrics ensure your sofa stays beautiful for years. Don't compromise quality for price. Visit WashableSofas.com to upgrade your living space today with no-risk returns and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get up to 60% off plus free shipping and free returns. Shop now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She ain't a fooling me. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Couple just on the medical side. Devin Neal, he's got a hamstring, so he'll be probably a couple weeks here. Shea Dixon, he had a shoulder, so he's just kind of day to day. And then Juwan stayed day, but he'll be fine. He should be good to go. Those were the 3 guys that kind of outside of the ones that already have pre-existing things.
That's Kellen Moore after practice on Tuesday, and it's unfortunate about Devin Neal. Of course, Devin Neal, the Saints' 6th-round draft pick out of Kansas, the all-time rushing leader in Kansas history, and a guy maybe who is a step slow and but for being a step slow against the clock. Might have been a much higher draft pick considering his productivity in college. But hamstring injury, and that's unfortunate. He'll miss a couple of weeks. And it's just a time where you can ill afford to do that because now you're getting into the preseason action, and because there's only 3 preseason games now as opposed to 4, and that's a time where guys will tend to maybe break its high with a performance in a preseason game after putting on in camp practices. We know now Devin Neal's going to miss the preseason game against the Chargers and very likely the second preseason game as well, so we'll see if he's back in time for the third one. And when you look at that running back room with Kamara and Kendre Miller and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and then Devin Neal in there as well, and a guy like Cam Akers, another veteran who's hanging around vying for starting a job, it's tough because even today, Kellen Moore was asked like how many running backs he wants to keep. Like, here was the answer.
Yeah, most of the time it's 3 or 4 in the NFL roster when you're talking about a 53-man roster, and then 1 or 2 on practice squad. And so really we'll see how it all plays out.
So if it's 3 or 4 and then a couple of more maybe on the practice squad, that could be potentially where Devin Neal is eyeing a spot is on the practice squad. If you cut him and you're able to keep him. But if you look at the unofficial depth chart, that the Saints put out there, there's a lot still to be determined. But when you look at how they listed running back on this depth chart, it was there. It is. Sorry, it was Kamara, Kendre Miller, Cam Akers 3, then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Velus Jones, Devin Neal, and Marcus Yarns. That's the order. And Kamara is the obvious one, and I think although he struggled, it's also, I think, a pretty natural thought that Kendre Miller would be number 2 because of the investment, the draft capital investment you have in him, even if it was the previous coaching staff. And so then you're looking at the third spot. It feels like it's one of the 2 veterans with Cam Akers or Clyde Edwards-Helaire, unless if someone like Devin Neal or Velus Jones or Marcus Yarns could go out there, pop, and win a job. I mean, we've seen that in the past. Someone like Thomas Jones, I remember, had a great preseason game against the Ravens and won himself a roster spot as a result in the past. So that can happen, but that opportunity now is gone for Devin Neal. It's unfortunate because, listen, at times throughout this camp, Kellen Moore has praised the job Devin Neal has done, especially early in camp.
Yeah, no, Devin's done an awesome job. Protection's been a huge thing. I think just continue to reinforce, like, this guy in protection is really, really good, and that's a huge thing for us. It's a really, really important aspect of playing running back. His ability to feel in the run game, and then his ability to make some plays in the pass game. He caught a choice route out of the backfield today in a team setting, and so we feel really good with where he's heading.
So we know, so you felt good about it, but again, this is a guy that this staff drafted, so they're high on him, but he's going to miss a key opportunity. And so when you look at the way that the depth chart was laid out, Devin Neal was already 5th on this depth chart. So now you go into this preseason game with Devin Neal not there. That means someone else gets those opportunities. The other thing that Kellen Moore said today, they were kind of asked him, has it been difficult to evaluate these running backs so far?
Yeah, the volume's a little bit tricky just because we have probably more than you normally would coming into a camp, but they're all worthy. There's not one guy in there that can't make our 53. They're all really good players. And then, the tackling component is real, and that's what you're most excited about with those guys in preseason.
So you've got 7 running backs. You heard him say typically keep 3, maybe 4 on your active roster and 2 on the practice squad. So that's 5, maybe 6 that will have an opportunity to stay with the team, and someone's going to be the odd man out. Right now, Marcus Yarns is at that spot, 1 ahead of Devin Neal, but Neal's going to be out a couple of weeks. So, look, a 6th-round draft pick isn't assured of anything, but they liked him enough to pick him and use a draft pick on him, and that would seemingly give him an edge over someone like Marcus Yarns, but not if you're not healthy and can't be on the field. So, disappointing for Devin Neal, but we'll watch that here over the next couple of weeks when he get back out on the field. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Evermore, EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. Always got my bottle of Evermore. Listen, I was out of practice today for LSU, 2 hours out in 100-degree heat. I'm not even wearing pads running around, but just being out there, you could feel it, man. How much you sweat, how much you lose fluid. It's so important to stay hydrated, and hydration is such an important part of overall health as well. Remember, there's this weird summer cold going around. A lot of people are like, hydration is a key part of health. So if you're feeling under the weather, stay hydrated. Drink Evermore. I always grab a 64-ounce bottle. I usually drink 2 of these a day, especially during the summertime. So get yours. Better form of hydration. It's natural artesian water. It's a Louisiana product. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. Evermore.com. Available online or at great local retailers. Drink Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. Okay, y'all. We'll put a button here on hour number 1. When we come back, Fletcher Mackel in 20 minutes. We'll talk some Saints. Eddie Kennison's here in hour 3. When we come back, I want to revisit something that we touched on briefly yesterday, but I want to do a little bit deeper dive. I want to talk about Juwan Johnson and what his role is going to be on this LSU team, because I think I don't think it's as cut and dried as saying, oh, he's the 4th quarterback and he'll play some mop-up duty against Southeastern and Louisiana Tech and they'll redshirt him. I don't think it's that cut and dried at all, and I think he could be a fascinating wild card in this offense, which we'll talk about. So I'm going to delve into that when we have some time. We'll do it when we come back right after SportsCenter here on AFR.
AFR.
Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana, and so many farmers who drive John Deere tractors and trust John Deere farm equipment. They also know First South Farm Credit because First South Farm Credit has helped Louisianians buy land for more than 100 years. They can also help you finance your farm equipment. But again, if you're a farmer in Louisiana, you know all about First South Farm Credit because since 1916, they've done one thing. They help Louisianians buy land. So you need 1,000 acres for agriculture, they got you. But if you're not a farmer, like many of us aren't, and you're interested in buying land, there are benefits in dealing with a land lender as opposed to whoever your typical lender might be. They know the nuance at First South Farm Credit of what goes into buying and financing land. So if you're thinking about 100 acres to build your family's dream home or that hunting property, even outside of the state of Louisiana, First South Farm Credit should be your first call. Go to firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com.
Time for a sofa upgrade? Visit WashableSofas.com and discover Anabay, where designer style meets budget-friendly prices, with sofas starting at $699. Anabay brings you the ultimate in furniture innovation with a modular design that allows you to rearrange your space effortlessly. Perfect for both small and large spaces, Anabay is the only machine-washable sofa inside and out. Say goodbye to stains and messes with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics that make cleaning easy. Liquid simply slides right off. Designed for custom comfort, our high-resilience foam lets you choose between a sink-in feel or a supportive memory foam blend. Plus, our pet-friendly, stain-resistant fabrics ensure your sofa stays beautiful for years. Don't compromise quality for price. Visit WashableSofas.com to upgrade your living space today with no-risk returns and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get up to 60% off plus free shipping and free returns. Shop now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply. Let's be real. Life happens. Kids spill. Pets shed. And accidents are inevitable. Find a sofa that can keep up at WashableSofas.com. Starting at just $699, our sofas are fully machine washable inside and out, so you can say goodbye to stains and hello to worry-free living. Made with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics, they're kid-proof, pet-friendly, and built for everyday life. Plus, changeable fabric covers let you refresh your sofa whenever you want. Need flexibility? Our modular design lets you rearrange your sofa anytime to fit your space, whether it's a growing family room or a cozy apartment. Plus, they're earth-friendly and trusted by over 200,000 happy customers. It's time to upgrade to a stress-free, mess-proof sofa. Visit WashableSofas.com today and save. That's WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.